What is up, Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And on today's podcast episode, I'm going to be talking about how to make the most of a coaching experience. I've started a lot of new clients recently, and most people who start working with a coach nowadays probably have never worked with either a good coach or an online coach. Like a sports team coach is a lot different from a one-on-one coach. So I just wanted to go into this and talk about, as a coach, what can help me serve my clients better. And also kind of talk about, like, if your coach isn't like this, then maybe you should find another coach, because it's a relationship. So it's not like, in theory, your coach shouldn't just give you macros and a workout and send you on your way. You guys should be talking, maybe not daily, but at least a couple times a week. I try to chat with some of my clients daily, depending on the client and what they need, but some clients we don't really need to. And so it's every couple days we touch base. But if your coach doesn't take your input, if your coach doesn't listen to your concerns, if your coach just, as I said, gives you workouts and macros, they're not a great coach, because coaching is a relationship. So there's give and take, right? My goal as a coach is to help you reach your goals sustainably. So yeah, I can give you macros and a workout and I'm like, follow the plan. And obviously, I mean, that's kind of what I do, but I build out a plan that we come up with together based on what you want. So if there's stuff that I'm having you do that you're like, I don't like, or this doesn't work for me, and I'm like, tough, you're not going to reach your goal. No, that's not how it works. I make adjustments. We make changes. So anyway, that's kind of the gist of the topic for today. But before I dig in, I just wanted to thank you guys for listening. If you've enjoyed the show, if you've been listening to the show regularly, if you could rate the show, share the show, subscribe, comment, like, whatever. That just helps me get in front of more people, which helps me help more people, which is the goal of the show. So, anyway, how to get the most out of your coaching experience. So, as I was kind of talking about before, coaching is a relationship. And like all relationships, to work, you have to communicate. Most relationship issues, I've noticed, are just lack of communication between friends, spouses, significant others, family members. It's always communication problem. Same with coaching. If you're not communicating with your coach, if you're not asking questions, if you have concerns that you're not voicing, us coaches can't read your mind. I wish I could. That would make me a magician, and I would be like the world's greatest coach. But I can't. I wish I could. As I said, I wish I could, but I can't. So if you're my client or you're working with a coach and you have concerns, just communicate them. Share. If your coach gets upset or your coach judges you because of what you shared, they're not a good coach. That's when you fire them. I've had some clients tell me, hey, I ate 2 dozen Ferrero Rochers this weekend. Like, they log the food. And I'm like, cool, thank you for sharing. Why did you eat those Ferrero Rochers? To try to dig in. And we talked, we had a conversation about it. Right, that's a good coach. A bad coach would have been like, what the hell, that's ridiculous. Yeah. It's like, no. I mean, you need, and as a coach too, if you're a coach listening to this, the best way to be the best coach is to have an open communication line with your clients. And to do that, you can't be judgmental. You have to be empathetic and understanding and calm and a safe person to talk to. So, Anyway, if your coach gets upset at you or mad at you for asking questions or for sharing things, they're not a good coach. So for me, with my clients, I love it. Share, overshare. Tell me all the things going on with your life, because that's going to help me coach you better. That's going to help me better understand what hurdles you have in your life to create a program that is effective for you. It's going to help me better understand, how to navigate nutrition. If you have a job where you're on the road basically the entire day, sometimes packing a meal can be a challenge. So if you tell me, hey, I go out to eat every day, or hey, I know meal prepping is ideal and taking my meals from home is ideal, but realistically, I'm not going to do that. And I'm like, cool. Well, what will you do? Right? So having that communication line open, right? Because what works for me is not going to work for somebody else. So I can't put my goals and expectations on somebody else. That's why communication is so important. So basically, what I'm trying to say is communicate. Communicate, share. If you're one of my clients, I really don't judge. I'm just here to help you and help guide you and help support you and help you follow through on the commitments that you make for yourself based on your goals. Sometimes I might kind of push you a little bit, like, hey, you said you wanted to do 2 workouts this week and it's Wednesday and you haven't done one yet. I might say that, right? Because part of being a coach too is, like, as I said, holding you accountable, making sure you follow through on the commitments. But it's not a judgment thing. It's like hey, my role is to help you follow through. So follow through because I know you can do it. So communicate. Communicate, be open, be honest, and ask questions. Because sometimes too, like, I've been in the health and fitness sphere, not like a coach. I've only been a coach for like 3 years now, but I've been interested in this stuff. Like lifting, I started when I was like 14. So literally half my life. I'm almost 28. I've been lifting for half my life. I got into nutrition in college, so it's been probably about 8 years. So I've been in this space for a while. So sometimes I forget that some of the terms that I'm using are not common. And I'll have some clients that don't ask questions. Then I have other clients that do. And I'm like, oh shoot, this is probably not a common term. I need to explain this more, because, like, if a doctor was talking to me about some doctor procedure or whatever, I'd be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But they don't think about it because they hang around doctors all day. I hang around coaches online all day. Or my husband, who also works from home across the hall, and he hears all the stuff that I talk about all the time, so he knows all the things because I make him know all the things. And he edits this podcast, so he should be like number 1 fit habit fitness knower. So ask questions. And again, if your coach gets upset at you, they're not a good coach. I guess that's 2. That's communicating. Let's 2, ask questions. Number 1, communicate openly. And if your coach is an asshole, fire them. Number 2, ask questions. Number 3, fill out your check-in forms on time. As I said, it's a relationship, right? If you're not communicating openly, if you're not doing the tasks that you committed to doing, I can't provide you with feedback. And so how my coaching works is I usually meet with clients once every 3 weeks or once a month, live on Zoom. But other than that, it's through recorded videos, voice messages, texting, that sort of thing. And if you're not filling out your check-in, I don't really know what's going on. Unless you're literally like every day, Emma, this is a rundown for the day. But most people don't do that. Most people have a bunch of other stuff going on. So fill out your check-ins and fill them out on time. Please. And Number 4, I guess this is kind of the last one. Be honest. Don't try to make your coach like you by lying about stuff that you're struggling with. Just, if I'm your coach, just tell me, hey, Emma, I'm really struggling with this. This thing is not working for me. I really need to pivot, or I need help with this thing. Cool. You know why? Because when you're honest, then I can adjust the game plan for you. And then we can make more progress. Don't try to impress me. Don't try to impress your coach. If you feel like you have to try to impress your coach, red flag. A good coach is there to support you and meet you where you're at. So if you're not ready to track, just tell your coach, I'm not ready to do that. A good coach is going to explain why it's going to be beneficial and why they might push you a little bit, be like, I really think you're at this point where this is going to be really beneficial. If you're still like, I'm not ready, then a coach is going to be like, okay, we'll pivot. We'll make some adjustments there. We'll make some changes. We'll focus on something else. So, yeah, be honest. Fill out your check-ins on time. Ask questions, communicate. And then the last thing, to get the most, and this is not like a you have to do this, but to get the most out of the coaching experience, what I've noticed, personally, I do some movement patterns wrong. Record your form videos if you have an online coach. If you have an in-person coach, your coach is there to watch you as you're doing your form. And red flag, if your coach is not adjusting or tweaking your form or asking you how it feels, fire them. Not a good coach. I go to the gym all the time. I see trainers with clients. They're making them sweat. They're doing like circuits. Most of those clients are not doing the movements right. They're going to get injured. That's not a good coach. So, anyway, off of my rant. Record your form videos. It can be weird and uncomfortable. I don't like to do it. But every time I'm doing, I'm like, holy crap, I'm doing this wrong. I need to tweak my form. So now I'm more frequently recording my own videos because I know how I'm supposed to do the pattern. Sometimes I have my own coach, so I send it. I'm like, hey, how should I adjust this? And he'll be like, do this thing. And I'll be like, cool. So record form videos. Please. It helps us coach you better. It helps us coaches coach you better because, as I said, I do things wrong sometimes. And a lot of people do things wrong. But you don't know if you don't know. And if you can't see yourself doing the movement, you're not recording yourself doing the movement, then it's hard to know if you're doing it right or wrong. Rows are a really common one. Most people do rows wrong. Most people do not have as much squat depth as they think. I'm trying to think of another exercise that's pretty common. Those are kind of like the two big ones. Like most people do rows wrong. That's the biggest one. Yeah. And it's really important to not get injured. Like oftentimes a lot of strength training injuries are not due to just lifting weights. They're due to improper technique, lifting weights, and loading that movement pattern that is wrong. So, yes. Anyway, that's kind of the gist. That's all I can think of right now. Because if you're honest and you're like, look, I'm not ready to do this thing, then your coach is not going to expect you to do the thing that you're not ready to do. If you're like, I'm going to do all these things and you don't do any of them, you're not being honest to yourself, you're not being honest to your coach, and your coach can't help you better. So, yeah. Hopefully, this was a helpful episode for someone who is interested in having a coach, is helpful for any of my current clients. Because, as I said, like most people have never had a coach before. They don't know what to expect. They don't know what's all entailed in a sports team coach is a lot different from a one-on-one coach. And as I said, not every coach is the same, but a good coach likes communication, likes open communication, likes honesty. A good coach likes questions. My goal is to educate my clients, so I love when people come and ask me questions. So, that's kind of the gist. Well, anyway, if this was helpful, if you could share the episode, rate the episode, subscribe, it just helps me help more people debunk the crap that's out there. And hopefully highlight red flags. Because, as I said, I'm in a bubble. I work part-time for a company. All the coaches are really awesome. I work on my own company, and I have friends that I've met through Instagram that are really awesome coaches. I go to events with really awesome coaches that I've met. That is not the norm, and it really sucks. Because when I go in my day-to-day out in my public area, right? Because internet, you see what you filter. So I only follow things that I know are good. But then you go out into the real world and you're like, holy crap. Like, most coaches are not as good. Like, anyway, I don't want to go on any more rants. I want to end on a good note. But a good note, there's a lot of awesome coaches out there. There's a lot of awesome coaches out there. And this is how you can make the most of them. And then now you know, if you have a coach that isn't like this and that doesn't answer questions, that doesn't like asking questions, that doesn't communicate openly, that doesn't take your input into account when building out your own program, find a new one. Easy. And if I'm not the right coach for you, look through who I'm following. There's probably a great coach on there because as I said, I only follow good coaches. I might need to look through and filter before I say that. But anyway, that is all for today. So I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.